Hey, it's Mike here, and today we're going to do a quick video on Jaden Smith, whose parents, Will Smith and Jada Pinkett-Smith, recently had a bit of an intervention with him when he was on his vegan diet because he apparently wasn't looking so hot. According to them, he wasn't getting enough protein and had grayish skin, which is a new one. That's one I haven't heard before in all my years as a vegan who deals with this crap all the time. But based on what he says, it appears that he may have never even been fully vegan, but the same points in this video do apply to why he may have failed to transition. And I normally don't like to talk about celebrities, but in this case, it is just such a textbook example of the press misconstruing an issue as being veganism's fault, as well as just a textbook example of somebody having a poorly planned vegan diet. So there are a lot of lessons to learn here. So my goal here is not to judge Jaden, but hopefully illuminate a solution. And back when I first went vegan, I had a bit of a similar situation with my mom, but the results ended up differently, and I'll talk about that at the end. All right, let's go. So the media has gone absolutely insane with this. We have USA Today, CNN, CBS, and a ton of other media outlets largely blaming veganism for this problem. Let's just get right into it. Here's their family discussion on their show Red Table Talk.
Will and I had a bit of an intervention with Jaden because he's a vegan now, but we realized he wasn't getting enough protein, so he was wasting away. He just looked drained. He was just...
Yeah, protein deficiency is still a thing in 2019, and here comes the gray part.
Depleted. He wasn't getting
the
nutrients.
dark circles under his eyes. There was even a little grayness
to
his skin, and we got really nervous.
Yeah.
But you're definitely looking better now.
Yep, he was actually undead. Now, we're gonna have to hear that veganism turns you gray for the next few years, sadly. Now, I do want to mention there's so much conflicting information about the timeline here and whether or not Jaden was actually even fully vegan. If you listen to what he was saying closely after they talked about the intervention, he says, wait a minute, I've actually been vegetarian for a year and I'll just go vegan for like a week at a time.
I also just want to say that I'm vegetarian, that I've tried to be vegan.
I've
tried it because people get very specific about, we see you eating pancakes, I'm vegetarian, you know, I've tried to eat vegan meals. I'll go vegan for a week or so, but for the past year, I've been vegetarian, but everything guys are saying is right.
Right.
So is it that he, you know, was playing with the idea of going vegan here and there, but was never actually really vegan for a meaningful amount of time? It was just vegetarianism, in which case this whole conversation is completely null and void. But it's worth mentioning that this whole discussion was sparked actually because of Will Smith's dietary health issues. For example, he had broken 225 pounds. He had an issue where he was getting lightheaded when he bent down and stood back up. He had some shaky hands occasionally. He also went periods where he didn't poop for 3 days and had like bad constipation and bad gas, as well as high cholesterol and being medicated for it.
And we're gonna just put stuff on the table. How many times do y'all poop in the course of a day?
Oh my God.
Hey.
It depends.
I can go 3 days without.
You have to poop daily.
You might want to take a look at that.
I'm constipated a lot. My pee looks like beer sometimes.
Dad. Wow. Oh no.
But it's funny how I didn't see a ton of headlines about his dietary issues, probably because he isn't on a vegan diet. And if he was, it would be like, vegan diet gives severe gas to Will Smith and he can't even stand up anymore. Will Smith loses legs on a vegan diet and his skin turns blue. But let's get back to the protein comment. First of all, how did Jada know that he had a protein deficiency? Was this just a guess, an assumption? I highly doubt they actually looked at his blood protein levels and that they were low. It is worth mentioning to zoom out at vegans in general, because they actually have higher levels of free blood protein, likely because of lower levels of protein-sucking inflammation. It's hard to tell just from the brevity of the conversation, but I really hope that Jada just knows that you can get enough protein on a vegan diet. I mean, looking at somebody like Kendrick Ferris, who set the US Olympic weightlifting record and was the only male on Team USA to make it to the Olympics. I mean, he's definitely getting enough protein. No, it's not a vegan diet specifically that drained this dude, and there's a pretty clear answer here, and I was actually mind blown by some of these statements, as Jaden mentions here.
I was just eating like 2 meals a day.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe one. Maybe just that one big meal, and I'm like, oh, you know, I didn't get around to it.
Holy crap, first of all, that's not a vegan problem, that's just a starving yourself problem. This is what the #1 vegan failure reason is. I've said over and over again, not enough calories, because animal products have a higher calorie density. 1 meal a day, maybe you're eating some snacks, that's like 1,000 calories a day. 2 meals a day is probably putting you in around 1,500 calories. These are, I'm not even exaggerating, this is the amount of calories that people ate in concentration camps. Is that what veganism is? Let's look at the definition of veganism. It says right here, eat 1,000 to 1,500 calories a day. Oh, and no animal products either. Oh wait, that's not the definition of veganism. It's simply to not eat or use animal products to do the least amount of harm practically possible.
My big problem is, wake up in the morning, my stomach's hurting. I don't want to eat breakfast, my stomach hurts.
To be fair, he said that in general he has stomach pains that prevent him from wanting to eat. And to that I will say, one thing that does help, I have seen help, is maybe starting off the day with a smoothie or eating something more liquid like soup, because the emptying time for your stomach with liquid food is way faster than solid food, and so that could just mean less pain, so you can eat more calories. Either way, it's not like vegan food was the only thing that hurt him. It's like the vegan label made his stomach hurt. No, it was food that did that in general, vegan or not. He could have just as easily added more calorie-dense plant foods like avocados and nut butters, which probably would have had the exact same result. I've also noticed a lot of these titles are like, after dramatic weight loss, Jaden Smith has family intervention. It's like, how much weight did he actually lose? It never really says, and he was skinny before, during, and after. I mean, maybe he lost like 10 pounds, it's unclear, but there's no like, whoa, he lost a ton of weight. As for his gray skin tone, this is pure speculation, but I would have to guess that he was becoming anemic. And again, a vegan diet is not causing anemia in general. It's worth mentioning from this recent study that looked at blood levels, the vegans did not have statistically significantly different rates of iron deficiency than the omnivores. They were the same. But people who eat anorexia levels of calories clearly have higher risk of anemia. That's what it is. Less food, less iron. Much of these pictures smearing his quote-unquote vegan diet were from this Louis Vuitton event. These were also the images by an anti-vegan channel used to criticize his appearance on a vegan diet. Funny stuff. And I think this is all because he decided to do something that makes everybody look less healthy, which is lighten their eyebrows. Obviously, he was doing some fashion stuff, but the reality is that when your eyebrows look lighter, you look less healthy. I mean, here's an example of a photo from that shoot. Here is him with his lighter eyebrows and lighter hair color, you know, not looking super duper healthy because of that. You know, it almost looks like he doesn't have eyebrows, but then here is him with his eyebrows and his hair color, you know, crudely photoshopped back on, taking it off, and back on. It's a pretty stark difference. You know, we associate the no eyebrow look with a cancer patient who has chemotherapy. Of course, we're not gonna associate it with healthfulness, but the reality is there's not a lack of hair there, it's just lightened. I mean, my eyebrows get bleached in the sun, I put sunscreen all around them, but then they end up getting bleached. Then I get more comments about having hypothyroidism and crap like that. Last point here is my similar story that I had when I first went vegan. My mom was like, oh my God, your bones look like they're about to snap because you're on your vegan diet. And I was like, actually, I weigh the exact same amount as I did before I went vegan, so clearly there's a little bit of a preconceived notion here. You know, people have been primed, probably because of all the articles like those that were written about this, to think that vegans are less healthy, frail, and dying. But at least for me, I went on to gain 15 pounds as a vegan, so I'm happy that I stuck with it. I'm stronger than I've ever been. But the story plays perfectly into those preconceived notions. Don't go vegan, never go vegan. You're actually gonna get a protein deficiency, your skin will go gray, and so forth. And the most ironic part of all this is they have someone come in at the end of their you know, round table family discussion to give them health advice and do some tests. And it's actually Dr. Hyman, who is known for promoting a low-carb diet. And from this meta-analysis, low-carb diets increase mortality risk by 30%. On the other hand, Will Smith mentioned his father, who passed away recently, who had all the diseases, he said, such as heart disease and diabetes.
Sitting with Daddy-O in his last couple of weeks, and he had everything. Diabetes and heart disease. It was really bad.
Well, vegans from the Adventist study had a 78% lower total risk of all diabetes, which is insane. And we have clinical trials showing the reversal of heart disease on a whole food vegan diet. So, yet a vegan diet's what we're making out to be an enemy here. And in the end, if you are going vegan, please eat more than one meal. Please eat more than 2 meals a day. Eat 3 meals a day. And I always say this, everybody should do this. Just check out 1, maybe 2 days on chronometer.com or another free nutrition tracker just to see how many calories you're eating, where calories come from, where nutrients come from. It's an awesome learning experience. And in the end, definitely don't go attacking Jaden on this. You know, he's 21, he's still learning how to feed himself, apparently. And, you know, he's still been doing great things. He's had a vegan food truck giving food away to the homeless people. He still periodically eats vegans for... eats vegan for weeks at a time. He's a cannibal. Anyway, so I hope he figures out how to eat more calories, maybe even follow a vegan bodybuilder and get jacked on a vegan diet. That would be awesome. All right, that's it for today. Feel free to let me know down below what you think about all of this, and like, subscribe, hit the notification bell as usual, and definitely share this in response to all of those articles smearing a vegan diet. That way, hopefully people will see the real picture. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
That is not good, and that's why your farts smell like that.